Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Spike back again once again. And today we're here for Kamen Rider GAVV episode 25. And in this episode, you guys get some Lakia character development, bros. They're kind of getting bro to starting to understand humans and things like that. And right now we see Sachika and Shoma, they're walking together, and Shoma basically says that I don't know, for some reason the only thing I could eat is ice cream. So she's like, cool, that gives you a chance to try a bunch of different flavors then. And they see Lakia outside at a little park or whatever, gazebo, bumming it up, you know. And they basically get him up and, you know, bring him back to the place and everything. And, you know, that's when Shoma gets to try ice cream cake for the first time and creates another the sorbet gochizo. And we actually found out Lakia actually tried some of the ice cream cake. He's like, nah, this ain't good for Granutes. And he pulls out a rock, and it turns out Granutes eat rocks. It was so random. It's like, yo, like, y'all eat rocks for real? Like, they just eating it. Like, it's just, I'm talking, not no seasoning, nothing. Just bit into it, straight fiber. Like, it's we out here, man. Rocks. So we even find out that Shoma also like kind of be able to eat rocks, but since he's half human, it doesn't work. But yeah, find out his mom, you know, Shoma and his mom were actually like eating grass and roots and weeds and stuff like that. It was a terrible freaking diet. Couldn't eat Granute food though. But you see that Sachika basically gets Lakia to help her with a few jobs that she's got going on. And we get this little thing going on with, you know, her taking Lakia on these like little jobs and stuff, and he's just kind of like the same as Shoma. He's, you know, he's really strong and things like that, but yeah, then he gets tired and he's all right, time for a nap. And it's like, what? But yeah, so Shoma is back at the house and he's doing something for Sachika, and then he finds out that, you know, Bitter Gav is attacking again. And then we go to our boy Hanto, who is, you know, he's talking to Suga, and he's like, he's happy, you know, he's talking to Suga about the whole Valentine's Day gift thing, and he tells him like, yeah, I felt way stronger than I did before. And he was like, cool. And then Hanto notices those pizza boxes, you know. He notices the pizza boxes and stuff. He's like, that's a lot of boxes. You know that? And he's like, nah, I had a friend come over. He's pretty young, and which sounded weird, but yeah, he basically plays it off because, you know, he's the one that's feeding, you know, all the bitter Gavs and stuff like that. And you see that Hanto, he sees on social media that another bitter Gav is attacking, so he goes off to go fight him off. We see that bitter Gav is in a dojo and he's fighting all the dudes in the dojo, and then Hanto comes in and starts fighting him and stuff like that. But he's pretty strong. He's handling them, he's beating them and stuff like that. And then that's when bitter Gav ends up running away. Shoma gets there, he sees Hanto, and Hanto looks like he's out of breath, he's in pain and stuff like that. And then Hanto just looks at him and then he leaves. So, you know, he's still not ready to talk to Shoma about we'll see or talk to Shoma because of, you know, what Shoma told him, right? So we get there and he's still chasing Bitter Gav. Everybody kind of gets a piece of. No, the only person that doesn't fight Bitter Gav in this episode is Lakia. Lakia fights a whole separate person. And then we see that there is a part-timer monster of the week in this episode, but he's it looks like he's impersonating a VTuber. He's basically like getting people to come to like this little secluded kind of restaurant looking place, and when he feeds them, you know, some sweets or whatever, they get happy, and then he captures them, and that's how he's getting people, by impersonating a VTuber, a very famous VTuber, by the way. And yeah, I think this VTuber is called Helmet Boy. He's like a samurai. He's like a shogun samurai looking dude. So we see that Sachika is doing all these jobs with Lakia, and then one of the jobs is to escort this kid to Helmet Boy. He wants to get escorted there, and they basically like need him there. I guess like kind of like some bodyguard type thing. And then Sachika has to leave because something else comes up. So it's just Lakia and this kid. So we do see that after, you know, Bitter Gav got away from Hunto, we see Shoma's able to catch up with him, and Shoma transforms into Sorbet. He transforms into Sorbet, but he was technically on the way to the Helmet Boy thing, because they see it on social media and they look in the comments and they're like, the last person that came to see you didn't come back. And then Sachika and Shoma are able to put 2 and 2 together and be like, that sounds suspicious, we need to check that out. But since Bitter Gav started attacking Shoma, he has to pick one, and he picks Bitter Gav. So he ends up finding Bitter Gav, and thanks to one of his Gochiso, his little Gochiso is able to help him, help him like open his belt and stuff, open his Gav and stuff like that, because he's still having like the body problems and the feeling weak and things like that. And we still haven't really figured out what that really is. I mean, they said it's a mental thing and he's really stressed out and stuff like that, and it's like he's backed up, I guess. But yeah, we still kind of going through that, and I'm kind of hoping that we kind of resolve that, because right now he can only eat ice cream or ice cream things. So he ends up transforming into Sorbet. He transforms into Sorbet, and then he uses whatever strength he has to fight Bitter Gav. So he's handling him for a while, and then but he realizes that his suit goes away, and his form goes away, and he says that I have to, whatever fight I'm in, I have to finish it quickly, because the Gochizo melts like it's ice cream, so the thing melts. And then since Bitter Gav ends up running away. Yeah, Bitter Gav ends up running away because he feels like he beat him. So he's like, yeah, I won. Yeah, bye. So we see that Bitter Gav is still on his little, walking around tirade, throwing stuff, walking through this alleyway. And then he ends up meeting up with Hunto. And then get like this really cool, like, small, like, fight. Like, they're in, like, a very small area in between, like, this alleyway and whatever. They're fighting. It's really cool. The choreography is great. And we see that's when Hunto ends up defeating him. Hunto defeats this Bitter Gav. So I guess everybody has defeated a Bitter Gav except for Lakia. I think maybe like the next time a Bitter Gav shows up, Lakia is going to be the one to take him out. Yeah. But yeah, so he's fighting. Like I said before, great fight, great choreography and everything. Hunto is very aggressive in this fight. And then the freaking the black chocolate, dark chocolate, it looks really like a symbiote when it like forms around him and stuff, and when he like shoots, like when the chocolate's on the ground and stuff like that, it looks very much like a symbiote thing going on. I just wanted to point that out. If anybody else noticed that, let me know if you noticed that. But yeah, it looks like a symbiote. But yeah, he ends up defeating Bitter Gav by trapping him inside of the alleyway so he can't leave, and then he ends up blasting him. And then for some reason he starts feeling like a lot of pain in his chest and things like that, and he feels like he's getting hurt from using these Gochiso that Suka gave him. So he doesn't really have that many. I guess he has maybe like 3 left, because Suka gave him, I think Suka gave him like 5 or 6 of them. It's either 5 or 6, but he's already used 2. So either way he has 2 or 5 left. 2 or 4 left, right? But yeah, man. He ends up defeating him. We go back to the kid that they were escorting there. Lakia got to a point where Shoma did tell him about the whole Bitter Gav thing and Bitter Gav's attacking and stuff, and Lakia wants to not go with the kid. He wants to go and fight, but he wants to go and fight and take out Bitter Gav. And the kid's like, fine, I'll go by myself. And then like, Lakia's like, ugh, he does the classic ugh, So the kid goes and he sees this, and he's talking to Helmet Boy, and he calls Helmet Boy fake, and he's like, yeah, he said, you're the fake, you stole my channel, and I'm not gonna, he's like, you need to give me back my channel. And it's like, and it turns out this big horned beetle, Granute walks up, comes from behind the TV, and he's like, yeah, and this guy feels like this part-timer, this dude feels like he feels like a character. Like he feels like a general. Like his voice, how he moved and stuff like that. He felt kind of like a boss, you know. Like it was just his atmosphere. It just felt like he was just that guy, you know. He didn't feel like a regular part-timer. He felt like something different, right? But yeah, turns out the agents have given a message to all of the part-timers, basically saying, hey, if you see the traitor, take him out. And the traitor is, Lakia is now considered a traitor. And they show what his Granute form and his human form. They show it all, his Granute form, his human form, and his rider form. They show all that. They know exactly what he looks like in all of his freaking states, right? So turns out this part-timer, he ends up attacking the kid, but then also Lakia comes and saves him. Lakia tells him to run, and then they have this conversation talking about like, hey, you're the guy, you're the traitor. There's a Longo put a bounty on your head and stuff like that. And he ends up bringing up Lakia's brother, and turns out Lakia's brother was a part-timer that got cold feet, and he didn't want to do something, so they end up taking him out. And that's when Lakia gets pissed and he transforms and gets ready to fight this dude, and that's the end of the episode. That's the end. But yeah, man, this episode was dope. It was kind of slow, but it's showing the three factions. Technically is showing what everybody's doing, except for like Stomach, because Stomach hasn't really been doing anything. Like we really haven't seen any Stomach characters. Like we haven't seen anybody of the family. We haven't even got any scenes of Stomach itself. Like what are Longo and the others doing? Like we don't know what any of them are doing. No Dente also in this episode either. It was just our main crew and the Bitter GAVV stuff. And I just feel like the Bitter GAVV stuff is gonna be like the main thing that's going on right now, and also with Suga as well. And I'm actually surprised that none of the Stomach know about Bitter GAVV. I mean, I could see if Neeliv probably knows something, but I'm surprised that none of them have like come in contact with Bitter GAVV. Like they haven't even been showing up, so they don't know who Bitter GAVV is, and that's I feel like that's a missed opportunity for me. Like in a way, they could bring Bitter GAVV in and like recruit him or something like that, which will be dope. But there are multiple Bitter GAVVs, so I guess this would feel better if Bitter GAVV was just like one guy instead of just a bunch of clones, right? But I'm actually surprised about that. I would love to see what would happen or what would transpire from them actually meeting Bitter GAVV, because he is technically a full Granute, technically. So yeah, he doesn't have a Granute form, but still he's technically a full Granute. But other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode of Kamen Rider GAVV. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As remember, as I always say, stay Hitchened.